tourism groups want them lifted, and there has been some criticism that the communication around the reasoning hasn't been transparent.
Well, the reality is, as much as people would like to pretend we're not, we're still in a pandemic. There are Canadians who die every single day because of COVID-19 in our hospitals. We are still at risk. We're particularly at risk as fall approaches of new variants. We need to make sure we're doing everything we can to keep Canadians safe. And I know people are eager to get back to things we love. But what will also further damage our tourism industry is if we get another wave, if we get more serious impacts from COVID. That's why every single time we have been anchored in science. We're reflecting on what the best way to do to make sure that we can get back to the things we love as quickly as possible without putting ourselves at risk for further health crises, for further economic shutdowns, for further hardship that COVID has.
So Trudeau says the risk, well, it might in the future, sometime, maybe in the fall, maybe another wave. So he's banning people now because maybe something about the future, even though the vaccine doesn't stop transmission, even though the unvaccinated are put on buses, there's no sense to it other than punishment. There's no science here, only vengeance. The truckers were against the mandates, so this is part of his punishment to them, which is why I'm worried for Alexis von Hensbroek. You simply don't speak out against Trudeau in Canada. Von Hensbroek might not know that part either. When I think of hyper-regulated businesses in Canada, I think of the firearms industry, if there's any left. I think of tobacco, if there's any left. I think of the banks, and I think of airlines. A malicious government could kill an airline with the flick of its tail. Look what they're doing in the Toronto Pearson Airport, making passengers come at 3:30 in the morning. The government did that. And that's just incompetence and abuse. That's not targeted vengeance. Von Hensbroek is daring Trudeau, challenging him. I noticed that Air Canada and Flair Air, or whatever the other small airlines are, Air Transat, I noticed that they are staying very, very silent. They are hiding very quietly right now. They are not coming forward to show unity and say, yeah, me too. They're not doing that. That would not only save WestJet, it would likely tip the scales and help push to freedom. If every airline said this is nuts, I think it would make a dent, but they would rather see their competitor WestJet, their rival, massacred by Trudeau than risk them standing in the breach, even if that would save the problem, solve the problem. They're happy for this European tourist to be mugged by a thug. But it's all a reminder of how our national temperament, our national conscience has been warped. The way we look at the world and what we have accepted. It's not normal what we have accepted here. We're outliers in the world. We're weird in the world. Trudeau is making us a worse version of ourselves than we used to be on censorship, on accepting poverty, on civil liberties, on pandemic response. You know, Von Hensbroek isn't the strange one. The rest of the cowards are. That was an excerpt from my daily TV-style show called The Ezra Levant Show. Each weekday, I do a monologue on the news of the day. Then I interview a fascinating guest. I read some fan mail or hate mail, depends on which I like more. And we end with a video of the day. You can get it all at rebelnewsplus.com.